Welcome to How's It Hanging, How's It Happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. The podcast Rolling Stone magazine describes as the one that initiates profound discussions with rock and metal artists, allowing fans to cover the creative workflow of the famed musicians and understand the factors that make the band succeed or fall from fame. We are all sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best for your custom computing needs. Get $100 off your entire business. Go to CPod at darkfusionsystems.com. Link to the podcast below. Go to millionpodcast.com. They rank the best metal podcasts out there, a lot of categories, but for metal music, we are number 10 in the world, which is awesome, but I want to do better. And for metalcore, we're number 2. But I'm like Schmitty Werger Jaegerman jumps in, I want to be number 1. Who's throwing out SpongeBob references in a metal music, heavy music, metalcore music podcast intro? I am. So let's get there. And we're going to get there by this. Time to go to feature presentation. My God, you guys want to go heavy and absolutely nuts and manic? I've got something for you. We've got Chase from the band Ov Sulfur on the podcast today. The second album from the band, Endless, comes out on January 16th. We not only dive into the reason why Endless was written and the depths of the emotions that were written on this record, we talk about the left turn like songs like Wither and Endless Loveless take from what their classic style is. But we also let you know that this album goes heavy. Why it goes heavy. We talk about songs like the intro Endless Godless. We talk about the song Forlorn and just how this might be an early consideration for album of the year 2026. It's anthemic. It's heavy. Makes you want to go fight a battle. You guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. We're into 2026 right now, which still seems weird to say, but all the new music from 2025, that's all in the past. Now we get to start focusing on what's coming out in 2026. And it's always fun to see a band come out with an album super early in the year that you're just sitting there scratching your head wondering, can anything actually beat this by the time the year is over? I listened to this album when I got a chance to, and dear God, if you like something that is heavy, grand, and just takes all the anthemic energy and shoves it right in your face, dude, we found something just for you. And you've probably heard of this band too, because they've been around since around 2020. This is going to be their second album. And to support this album, they're going to go on through with Orbit Culture in late winter, early spring of 2026. The new album called Endless comes out on January 16th. So get ready for it, because this one is brutally awesome. So please welcome Chase from Ov Sulfur, the podcast. So Chase, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Dude, thanks for being on today. I appreciate it. As we start out 2026, I'm going to say an absolute high note with how insane this album is. But first off, we're getting close to the album release. I know all the boxes in the back of you right now are all the physical copies of it. Just how are you feeling going into the album release right now?
Honestly, I'm feeling really good, man. When we recorded this, like, we were so stoked once we finished, because it's just like pretty much essentially what we wanted to do with the first record, and just like completely nailed it. It's probably one of my favorite pieces of music. I say this every time, but it's probably one of my favorite pieces of music that I've ever been involved with. So I'm very, very stoked about it.
But doesn't that make it seem like you're definitely doing something if you're on the right path, if every time you come out with something, it's one of your favorite pieces of music because you believe in it, you're invested in it. And if you're invested in it, it gives us more of a reason to be invested in it versus, I'm just okay with it. If you're just okay with it, then why should we be stoked on it? If you're absolutely stoked on it and I'm absolutely stoked on it, everyone that loves heavy music should be absolutely stoked on it.
Totally. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, we make music for us first and foremost, right? And then if people like it, then that's a huge plus.
Oh, absolutely. If you're not making music for yourselves, if you're making music specifically for other people, then it's going to sound watered down. It's not going to sound like you guys. It's not going to have the authenticity to it. And it's just going to fall flat every step of the way. It's like artists or, bands or anybody that's special. Sometimes in pop music, I'll use them specifically. That's when you're trying to chase a trend. It's like, oh, this is popular, so now I got to try and do this. By the time you actually do that, because you're chasing the trend, that trend is over and the new thing is popping. You're always going to be behind. But if you're always true to yourself and do what you want to do, you're always going to have that piece of authenticity that is what the great artists and the artists that make the most impact in everybody's lives always have.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, and it's just, it's proven, and especially if you can connect with people on an emotional level like we can, with Wither or Earthen or any of those songs. You know what I mean? It's like it's authentic, and we're not just trying to do the weirdest animal noise. We're not trying to do the crazy like double kick shit that people do. And it's like it's just music, and that's what we're trying to do, and the best way we can.
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong. I mean, there are going to be points in time throughout the entire album where some of those lower, real deep, guttural kind of vocals always come into play, especially having more of that like deathcore background. But you're not going with just those specific hits that are going to get the quick little views on TikTok if you've put it in a short, and then quickly go away because people just want to focus in on that and not really enjoy the substance of the song as a whole. But when the substance of the song is completely there, it captures people. It just brings them in and makes them want to listen to it more. And throughout the entire album, I mean, there's the heavy portions of it. There's the portions that are absolutely brutal. There's the portions of the album where it goes in a much softer direction than I was ever anticipating. It went more melodic, and I was kind of thrown off by it. But it's the overall continuous flow of the album, the way it carries the emotion, and the anthemic drive throughout every piece of it, which creates this whole cohesive group of 10 songs, which, I'll be honest with you, I was listening to while I was working out this morning, and yeah, it was fun.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we love that. Fucking, the band as a whole has been like a workout band, like pretty much as far as we can remember. Ricky, obviously, the whole time, and me and Josh work out all the time on tour and stuff like that too. So anything that can help a workout, we're all for.
Oh, it absolutely will. I mean, tomorrow morning, because we're shooting this right before the end of 2025. Tomorrow morning is my last workout of the year, and it's all upper body day, chest day, and everything. And typically, I've been going with just straight hardcore music, and it's like, well, now I kind of want to just jump into something different, because that's all I was listening to throughout the entire year. Let's go with some Ov Sulfur. Let's throw it in there. Throw in the Orbit Culture record that came out back in October. Not only just have one hell of a lift to end the year, but get ready for one hell of a tour that's going to happen in the beginning of 2026.
Oh yeah, man. I can't wait, dude. That's going to be such a fun one, man. And that new Orbit record fucking smacks. It's so cool.
Oh, it's intense. I think at the end of the year, I had like my list of like top 10 favorite albums of the year, and their record came in at number 2 in 2025. And it's just, I wasn't expecting it to be there. I knew it was going to be good, but I listened to it. I was like, this is nuts. And now you guys going on tour with this brand new album, that tour is going to be not only insane, heavy hitting, but if you're not in the pit during that tour, you got to reevaluate something, because you should be in the middle of the pit during that tour.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll see how many wall of deaths we can complete during that tour.
You know what? Because I know that you guys are coming by me. I think it's March 20th is the show day here in Milwaukee. And I'm making sure I'm there. If you guys call for wall death literally in every single song, we'll make it happen.
Hell yeah. I love that. Let's do it. I'm keeping you to that.
We'll do it. We'll push people around. We'll have some fun with it. Even if by the end of the show, it's like, okay, I'm all beaten up. Maybe there's some blood running down my nose. I'm just going to look at the end of it and be like, hey guys, worth it.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah, it's going to be great. But I do really want to go into this album, though, because like I said at the beginning, especially in the intro, this album already is in a serious album of the year contender for 2026, and it is maybe the second or the third album I've heard the entire year so far, due to, recording these podcasts early and everything. But when it came to really getting down this album and really fleshing out what you guys want to do on album number 2, how did that whole process work out?
Well, I mean, we kind of just took a look at what we wanted to do with Burden that we didn't really feel like we accomplished, and kind of just put that towards this new record. With Burden, there's a lot of cool stuff, and there's a lot of cool ideas on that record, but I just feel like it wasn't nearly as cohesive as it could have been. There were a lot of things that were kind of mismatched and stuff like that. But with this, we thought about it as a whole. We thought about how it should flow. We thought about like the entire vibe of the record, the entire premise of the record. And, we wanted to maintain the band's identity while still doing something fresh and new. You know what I mean? So I feel like we accomplished that with this record. It took some time. Like, I think I started writing it in 2020. I think sometime in 2023 is when I wrote the first song, which would be, it was either Wither or Seed. I don't remember which came first, but those were the first two songs that I wrote for the record. And, it's up until now is why when we've been, planning and writing and doing all that stuff. So it's been a long time in the making.
Well, just bringing up those two songs, potentially the first ones you wrote between Wither and Seed, what you brought about, like trying to date, basically, you take what you guys did on your first album with Burden, and you just really opened up more and what could possibly be done, what you want to do. Because Seed and Wither are two very different songs. I remember going through the entire album because I wanted to go through it from song number 1, song number 10, exactly how you guys put it on the track listing. And by the time I got to Wither, I could even go to my whole entire notes section on the entire album. And this is a massive left turn in terms of sound and tone from the rest of the album up to this point. But it captured everything so perfectly in a completely different way, but still matched up with the first 4 songs that were on the record. And then going into the second half, going heavier once again, it didn't feel like it was like okay, we're going to take a break and then go back to the heaviness. It felt like a completely different turn of the emotion that you're trying to carry before going into a different piece of heaviness as the emotion has led you into something different. There's a journey that's being gone on here instead of just trying to take a song and just put it in there because it's different or because it was interesting. You guys wanted just to throw it in somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There was a lot of thought that went into the whole flow of the record. I mean, like I said, with Burden, we kind of just had the songs and not that we didn't think of where we wanted to place them or anything like that, but there was like no ebbs and flows, if that makes sense, Like this one, like it's a roller coaster ride. Like you're taking a break and then all of a sudden you're shooting up and then you're coming back down and then you're taking a turn. It's kind of insane. So we we wanted people to feel that when we, put this album together. And I feel like we kind of succeeded in that. And I'm glad you think so as well. But yeah, it took a lot of time and figuring out, and like we even wrote one more song that's not on the record. So it's like there's still a song that's recorded we might release as a B-side or something like that. Um, but it took some time to figure out, okay, what's staying, what's going, and how are we going to put this together?
I'm curious to hear what that other song is, especially put out as a B-side, because what also could have been put on this album in comparison to that. But specifically going back to Wither as well, given what you guys did, and what I liked about that song specifically was it opened up the songwriting process for you guys and what could be possible. Because I know I love music. I love me some heavy music. And there's a lot of times where even the best heavy music can have a very consistent pattern to it. And the best artists that are out there, especially the ones that become the most creative, I'm not saying the most successful, the ones that just really stick in with you, there's a creativity behind their sound between the patterns, the ideas, the flows, the influences that all come together to create something that keeps your attention and keeps your emotion throughout the entire thing in a way you never anticipated, but you fully understand. With Wither, you guys were able to explore even more of that, and you can see how some of those ideas fleshed out not only into some of the heavier songs that are all throughout the album, but when you get to the final song in the album with Endless Loveless, you get to see how much more that expanded idea of a songwriting style that Ov Sulfur can go with opens up, especially with how the verses, sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure about how the tone and the pattern are all working together, but once that bridge hits and then the solo hits and how everything interplays together, now you're seeing that whole cohesive flow come together in an entire song with a similar style of Wither, but you're going in a much grander way than I possibly thought was even possible. Of course, I knew could get tastes of it with some of the anthemic styles, some of the absolute grander theatrical pieces that were throughout the album, but never did I think it would get to that level, but it gave it an incredible way to close out this entire thing.
Dude, thank you so much, man. Yeah, actually, the funny thing is too, we had like 8 or 9 songs written before we went in the studio, and we needed a few more. And that song, Endless Loveless, was actually written in the studio. It was kind of honestly, it was meant to be an instrumental in the middle of the album, and I think Levi and Josh Schrader were messing around with drums or production or something one day, And then all of a sudden I was like, let's see what would happen if I added a chorus to this. And, Ricky came and we all listened to it and he was like, yeah, no, this needs to have lyrics on it. So that's kind of how the song kind of came to be. It's definitely not the usual, but I feel like with Wither on the album as well, it kind of just connects it. And we start from the heaviest point, which is Endless Godless, to the end, which is Endless Loveless. And it kind of just brings the whole record together,
It really does bring the whole record together. I would have never thought that this was supposed to be an instrumental in the middle of the album. And the main reason I say that is because when I got towards the bridge and then the absolute full shredding solo, that made me just kind of sit there and think, this is incredible. How can this get like wrapped up in a bow any better? That final chorus hits, it's like a little bit of a higher key than what the rest of the choruses are, but it reminds me of like a ballad style that Alter Bridge guitarist Mark Tremonti would pull out if it was his solo stuff, or even if it was something that Alter Bridge would do with him and Miles Kennedy. And it all had the exact same effect with that sometimes more grandiose, sometimes more just emotionally impactful, upfront, forward feel. And it all hit the exact same. And I would have thought that that would have been the absolute idea from the get-go, how those two parts interplay versus it just being an instrumental that needed vocals on it in the aftermath.
Yeah, dude, it's just how it worked out. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And then I do like what you said too, because at the end of the album, it's something that changes up everything. But in the beginning of it with Endless Godless, I mean, you open up the album and you feel like you're just ready to go and fight somebody. You feel that adrenaline pumping through you and the anger is coming through. I remember going through this album. I remember exactly. I was going through on December 22nd. 2 days earlier, I was in my first ever MMA fight. And I wish this would have been out because this would have been the perfect walk-up song.
Fuck yeah. Especially like with that little stomp, like that arena stomp part in the middle dude. Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, it's that stomp. It has that melodic burst feel to it. There's the growls over the top. It's heavy, raw, but it's energizing at the exact same time. And it just feels like you're getting ready for battle of some sort. You feel like mentally... I kind of started equating everything to the movie 300 because if you watch that movie, especially as the soundtrack goes in, the way the cinematography is, you feel so amped up and ready to go and you want to go out there and give it your best. Like I've heard stories about professional athletes watching the movie before a big game and then all of a sudden, they play the best game of their lives because they're just that amped up. This was put into like a 1 minute, 50-second song that is Endless Godless.
Thanks, man. It's like that's the whole point of an intro to a record. It's to amp people up, get them ready, and get them. I don't know, get the vibe going.
Well, not only get the vibe going, but it sets the album up in a way that, for me specifically, I wanted to go through the entire thing right from the jump. After that, all I'm thinking about is how is this album going to not only carry this absolutely anthemic, impactful feel, but no matter what mentally I am dealing with, no matter what situation comes my way, whether it's in a physical state, whether it's in a mental state, it does not matter. I am ready to go and take this on. You are creating a moment where all I want to do is just do it. It's like the Shia LaBeouf meme, just do it. Like this is exactly what it is in a much more grander, epic way.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we tried to, put every emotion into this song, or this album, I mean. With every song comes like a different emotion. We have the album's named Endless because we took each emotion and we were like, okay, what can we write about? Endless doubt. People are always plagued with the seed of doubt, which is what seed is. What endless dread in your life, which is obviously dread. We pack all these emotions in. You feel like despair, you feel anger, you feel sadness with like Wither or Endless Loveless, and we just wanted to convey that no matter what the situation, you can like kind of relate or pop a song on and get through your day, or whether it helps or whatever it might need to be, whether it's cathartic, whatever. We wanted to write something with a little bit more substance this time around,
Oh, I completely understand that. And as time goes on too, as you guys grow as artists, as you guys, grow as people at the exact same time, perspectives change, ideas change. And when someone is going through something, you know, like when you're thinking endless dread, endless just questioning if things are worth it, endless just endless pain. It feels like at those times, like it's never going to end. When I've been through that time too, I've been through points in time in my life where, you know, depressions, you know, thoughts of self-harm and everything, it doesn't really do you any favors, but you feel like you can never get out of it just based on the situation. And songs like these, because they carry that weight and they carry that emotion through it, based on the anthemic theatrical style of such a heavy deathcore overall bubble, what I think it does is it gives you that energy and that feeling that it's going to come to an end at some point. This is not going to last forever. Sometimes you just need to get through the day. Sometimes you need to get through the next 5 minutes. But this is going to help keep you motivated to get through those minutes to find that light at the end of the tunnel of whatever endless feeling you might be feeling, because it will come to an end. You just don't know when it is. But again, sometimes you just need that sound, or you just need that motivation to get to the next 5 minutes, get to the next day, get to the next week, get to the next month. And as time goes on, now you're going to be in that position mentally to find that light at the end of the tunnel. And when you see it, you go after it, and you are still feeling these songs and sometimes listening to them because they're continually driving you to that light.
Exactly, man. Yeah, and it lets people know, you know, you're not the only one. You're not alone, you know. So like we understand, we feel this too. Like if you know, you need to connect or do whatever, listen to the song, or, you know, let us tell you that it's okay to feel these certain types of ways, you know.
Absolutely. Now on these songs, especially with these different emotions that you were talking about, which one did you think was maybe the hardest to convey in a song specifically?
Um, I mean, the one we spent the most time on would be Wither, because it meant a lot to me personally, and I don't I don't really like it was kind of my way of grieving for my grandparents, because I didn't really know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it the only way I could, you know, figure it out, which was, you know, pretty much getting in the studio, writing a song and writing how I feel in a song, which is the first time I've ever done that, you know. But it was tough. It was tough, and like I wanted the song to sound just right, you know. So we went through quite a couple iterations, and we would listen. I'd be like, no, no, it doesn't make me feel anything, you know, no. And you know, we got it to the point where we tweaked it just right. And once we did, I was like, that's it. And, you know, fucking Josh Schrader and Levi and, uh, you know, everybody was like, yeah, yeah, like we're stoked. And I kind of backed off into a corner, and I kind of was just by myself for a second. Josh and Levi came up behind me and gave me a big hug, and I just started like breaking down crying, because I was like so happy that, you know, we had done it, and like that was it, you know. And I think at that point too, I was realizing, you know, how much like I missed my grandparents and stuff. So it was tough. It was very tough to do that song and convey exactly how I felt in that song. And I'm sure I can't speak for Ricky, you know, but I'm sure it's the same for him as well, you know, because it was just a lot. Like there was a point where Ricky was tracking his vocals as well, and you know, it was hard for him to continue. So that I feel like when you're talking about something that deep and close and emotional to you, there's never going to be like an easy way to do it.
Oh, there's never going to be an easy way to do it. And if there was an easy way to do it, then music would not hit as impactfully as it does. It would not be as important to so many people as it is. And I had to go back to my whole entire notes on Wither as well to make sure I didn't mess this up. And it kind of makes sense that this is would be the hardest one for you, especially if you're talking about trying to go through the grieving process. If it's something that you're never really used to, you haven't really done fully, by going through this in your own way, now you've discovered what that is. You took the time to figure out exactly how you wanted it to sound, how those sounds were going to affect you. And when it finally hit and you needed that moment, not only does it impact you as, yes, this is exactly what it is, but it's the exact moment that you need as a person to continue on. And this is going to give us all so many different moments like that to be able to potentially process grief ourselves. By saying that Ricky was even having trouble with his vocals and feeling it in the exact same way, now you're seeing that emotion carry over and seeing it impact people, not only with the music, but just right away. You're seeing someone that's a part of the song too impacted by it. You can easily feel that from the beginning of the song, especially with the sample of a phone message from a Merry Christmas, and you see hearing a decrescendo and having the melancholic softer guitar adding some strings behind it too, crescendo up, and seeing that mixture fade in, fade out. So you're seeing that memory of somebody kind of being active now going into something that's more passive because it's no longer present. But continuing on through the song, you're feeling that hit, you're feeling that pain, you're feeling the grief that's all through there. And that's why when the bridge hits and you're hearing that shredding solo over melodic backing guitar, it just completely adds so much more to the song, is that emotionally impactful outcry, and you're still remembering the emotion from how the intro portrays it. You're setting us all up for that moment, because we all have that moment and we all have that memory of someone very impactful in our lives, maybe giving us something or saying something to us for the last time, and it kind of fades into the background and then comes to the forefront. For me, when I was thinking about my grandfather who died in 2021. The last time I saw him alive was on Thanksgiving of that year, where he gave me a birthday card at the end of the night, shook my hand, and then left, and I didn't get to actually see him alive again. And I still have that birthday card to this day. So I still read it every now and again, and it's kind of that exact same feel where you're seeing the active memory of them, because they're no longer here, fade into the past, but the passive memory and the emotion of what their impact was on your life becomes ever more present once again, because their influence of positivity is reflected in your actions.
100%, man. Yeah. I mean, it's funny you say that, because like I still have a ring from my grandfather when he passed, and I carry it with me in my bag when I go on tour. So it's like he's always with me, and like the video of him at the end singing, Frank Sinatra.
Mm.
It gets me every time, dude. Like I still have trouble listening to the song even, but it's a good memory, and it's something to remember him by, which I'm glad we got in the song and in the music video. And yeah, it's just a good way to honor his memory for sure. And I'm sure your grandfather would be stoked that you kept that card. Like, maybe to him, he didn't even know. He's like, it's a birthday card. He'll just read it and get rid of it, right? But like, what they don't know is that, you keep it, and something like that small reminds them of the greater memory of them.
Exactly. Yeah, I still have the card, and the only other thing I have of his is whenever we go up north in the summers, he'd always wear the same hat fishing. My aunt was cleaning out the boathouse up north, and she had the hat, and they gave it to me. Yeah,
Nice.
that hat is on a shelf. It's actually my kitchen, because that's the only spot I had space for it. And what's right behind it? The birthday card. I keep them all together, and it's just always right there. So every day I get to take a look at it.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Thank you. Now, there's always a question I love to ask artists, especially when new music is coming out, and it not only gets us to get more excited for the album, but gets you to even hype it up even more. And of course, taking a look at it when I recorded this, I believe there were 4 singles out of 10 songs overall. So let's take those 4 singles and push them to the side for now, because everyone has already had a chance to listen to them. But the other 6, that's a different story. So I'm not going to ask you for your favorite, because that's going to be like picking your favorite children, and we're not going to do that. But out of the songs that have not yet been released, which is the one you are most excited for people to hear, and why?
Oh man, I mean, we've already kind of talked about it a little bit. It's Endless Loveless for sure, because it's like a hard right turn for a deathcore band, but I just love that fucking song, man. Like I'm a huge fan of like Creed and Nickelback and Stained and all of that stuff, and that kind of encapsulates my love for those types of bands. And the fact that I got to do it on this record is sick. Like what deathcore band can say they fucking did that. But yeah, dude, I mean, and again, that's another one that's pretty close to me because it was pretty much, I had a relationship at the time and we were having trouble because I was gone for the first like 4 months of the relationship. And it was pretty much me saying, "Hey, I understand I'm not there. Hold on, I'll be home soon. Like, I know there's problems now, but it'll work out when we get there." It did not work out when I got there. But that song, was kind of like, I put my whole kind of like heart on my sleeve for that one. And I think that Ricky's performance in it is fucking amazing because he has a family that he misses when he goes on tour, so he understands just as well as I do how hard it is to maintain those types of relationships on the road. So I think that shows a different side of us as well. And I'm stoked for people to see it. I know there's gonna be Deathcore Reddit's gonna have a field day. Like, what the fuck is this? This is bullshit. But I don't care.
The funny thing is, Deathcore Reddit's gonna definitely have a field day. I mean, they already heard Wither. They're gonna hear that, and they might be listening. It's like, oh, this album's gonna be soft because they've only talked about really Wither and Endless Loveless, and those are the definitely left-turned, different types of songs on the record. Even though we talked about Endless Godless. That's a heavy song. And you listen to the other singles, it's heavy. What about the songs that we didn't mention? Are they heavy?
The songs that we didn't mention are very heavy.
Oh, absolutely. There is one I specifically want to bring up because this is the one that I'm most excited for people to hear. And it's song number 3, Forlorn. Oh my God. I just, like, I'm taking a look at what I've wrote on the note sheet because this was one where I had a moment of like, holy shit. Because I wrote, overall, holy fuck, is this just getting better and better? I swear the intro hits with that crescendo like you're going to an epic classic movie wartime battle. It all makes sense to me as there's like more fighting you have to do to fight for what is trying to rip you apart. Like you're trying to fight against what's trying to rip you apart. The verses, I kind of wish, I'm like, there could be a little bit more guitar in here just to really amp it up. But then the chorus, the shred on the guitars makes up for it entirely. However, around the 2:30 mark, there is a massive snarl and then the breakdown hits and it is just maddeningly wild. Drums burst. The vocals are starting with some like kind of like grates in the call and response. The guitars are dirty all over the board and bursts, but the programming hum that stays over the top just makes it sound so much larger than life, but also makes you feel a part of it. And then at the end, you get cleans and chanting pieces of his anthemic feel as we go back into the chorus. It made me lose my shit in the best way as one of the most heaviest, epic, wild, intensely incredible breakdown things I've ever heard. Again, that programming, that part of it makes it much larger than life itself, but the combination of it with the heaviness makes you feel all a part of it. And I wrote at the end of this, give me fucking more, because this was just insane. And then you got to the second half of the album with ones like Evermore Dread, Bleak and a World Away. Yeah, you're going to get a lot more of that good shit, especially like the heavy stuff right there.
110%. Yeah, Forlorn. That song is so fucking awesome. It's, I think, the only song that's in 3/4 timing on the record, but I just love that waltzy vibe that you kind of get from it. And it's like so melodic and beautiful, but it's also fucking insanely heavy. The drums are so fast. You get that, like you said, almost like a war march type of vibe from it. And I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff like that on the whole record. And it's not just, I swear to God, it's not just Stained. We'll do the Stained record next, but it's got everything you want on this record. I feel like it sounds like we're jamming a bunch of stuff in there, but it's really well thought out. It's really well paced. And it's I don't know. To me, I feel like this is the record I've been wanting to write my whole life. So.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be honest with you. When it comes to songs like Wither and Endless Loveless, where I'm listening and writing out my thoughts, typing out my thoughts, and I'm just kind of sitting there thinking like this, wow, this is Like there's so much more complexities here. That's when some I know is really hitting. But when it's heavy and it's aggressive and I'm writing down my thoughts and just laughing while I'm doing it because I cannot just like put this in like, how am I actually getting to listen to this and actually get to experience this? That's what happened on Forlorn with that breakdown. And it happened all throughout too. It happened with Dread. It happened with Bleak. It happened with A World Away, especially with the features that are added in there as well. It all was added in there. And even funnier too is we're naming all the songs that have yet to be released. So for everyone that's on Deathcore Reddit, everyone that's like, oh, well, you guys only talked about, again, Wither and Endless Loveless a lot, and it was the softer ones. Oh, dear God. Oh, boy. The reason we're not talking about maybe is the heavier ones as much is because we know that's what you're maybe looking for, and we'd rather have you be happily surprised on release day.
Exactly. Plus, like, I mean, the songs on the back end of the record have insane features too, you know? So like I'm stoked that we got our friends on the record and they're on those songs specifically. And they weren't released for a reason. Like we want you to go listen to those on release day. We want you to like go check out like the songs that our friends helped us, you know, do. So I'm very stoked to see what people think about those songs.
Just make sure if you're listening to those songs, if you're in a car, make sure that you might be on a very wide open road with no one around you because you're probably going to have your foot on the floor, pedal to the metal, probably going 140 miles an hour. And I just want to make sure that you're not a danger to other people while you're going absolutely mad listening to this record.
Hell yeah.
But if you really want to go crazy and listen to this record and really experience it, boom. Yeah. Orbit Culture Tour. Got to go be there, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. It's a long, fun one, too. February 18th to April 10th. So we will be going everywhere in North America, Canada, all over the U.S. We'll be literally everywhere.
And good thing the date that I'll be able to go to is smack dab in the middle of it, March 20th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hell yeah. That's at the Rave, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, that's going to be sick.
I think, and the funny thing is, I think the same exact day you guys are playing, Testament is playing in the Rave too. I think they're playing the Ballroom. So it'll be like you get a bunch of heavy fans all in the exact same spot at one time. It'll be like Metal Fest all over again.
Tight. I love it. Metal Fest was a vibe.
Oh, yeah. What do you guys play this? I don't think
this year.
You played 2025. Okay, because I didn't go 2025. I went 2024. So
yeah, that was the one with like Lamb of God and who else played?
2024 was Mr. Bungle was one of them.
Yeah,
Slard Prevail was one. The third day headliner. For me, the thing I remember the most from the Metal Fest 2024 was seeing a band called Belushi Speedball for the first time. The pit was littered with Nerf guns, Pokemon cards, and like training manuals for different like businesses that were no longer used, like hard copies. They littered the pit before the first song.
Hell yeah. That's dope.
and then it was the first time Paleface Swiss played in the US and they stopped, yeah. And it was my shoelace busted during their set.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I believe that. If you've never seen Paleface live, anybody listening, a lot of things will bust. Your lips, your head, your shoelaces.
Oh, they came back in 2025 for a headlining set. My buddy had his lip busted open the first 10 seconds because a trash can came flying out of nowhere.
Sounds about right.
It sounds about right. But yeah, you guys, I'm assuming you had a good time in 2025 at Metal Fest, which means 2026. Now you get to do kind of your own show at the Rave, of course, with Orbit Culture, but it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. And like the Rave's always a good time. Plus getting to see that pool too was awesome.
Oh, now I mean, we got to hope. What we have to hope now is that we can get the entire show to sell out so you guys get to sign it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, definitely. That would be sick.
And if they're like, oh, well, don't sign it. Yeah, just sign the wall. I mean, there's plenty of signatures on the wall. Plus, especially if you get to go back there, it's always fun to go with a flashlight and take a look at all the signatures. I'm like, oh, I remember I was at that show. I saw that one.
Nice. Yeah, man. We saw the Mac Miller one, and I was like, oh, dude, that's so insane.
Yeah, put that on there. And he wrote that on there in 2017 too. If I'm correct. Which is even crazier. And now they put a whole bunch of they put plexiglass around it so that no one can mess with it.
Oh, did they? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I saw. I didn't get that close, so I was like kind of far away.
Understandable. Well, Chase, I got one more question before we wrap this up. It's something I like to ask every artist that comes on the podcast. It's something that I love to do because it gets me and every listener to get to enjoy more new music, but for you to get to support the music you love as well. I'm limited to 3, so we're not here all day, but can you name me 3 bands or artists that you love that you would love to see more people get into right now?
Yeah. First off, Backbiter. I think that they are one of the toughest, coolest fucking bands right now. I love that fucking band. Um, I think they're from Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. But they're awesome. If you like tough guy, like in your face, aggressive music, Backbiter's fucking awesome. I'm gonna shout out some local guys
Mm-hmm.
within Oblivion. Awesome Vegas deathcore. Awesome dudes. They deserve more hype than they're getting right now. I think everybody should listen to Within Oblivion. And number 3, I mean, okay, yeah, I got it. 3, I'm gonna give up to Bolt Cutter. Bolt Cutter's fucking sick. We just saw them in Mesa. When we played with Ingested, they were playing the Nile up the street with Dying Wish, and I made sure to catch their set before we play. So, and it's funny because I ended up meeting the dudes and they're fucking awesome dudes. So we ended up seeing Bolt Cutter running back to play our set, and then Bolt Cutter came over to watch our set, which was fucking awesome. Like, so shout out those dudes. They're a killer band, and more people should also listen to them as well.
If there's a plug for a band, I think that might have been the plug I've heard, and I've been asking that question since September of 2023.
Yeah, totally, dude. I mean, I feel like all those bands deserve a lot more recognition than they're getting right now.
Well, we'll do our part to help and try and get as many people to know about it, and we'll be posting that online for everyone to see. So if you're listening to this, well, great, you get to go check them out now. But if you're like, oh, I just saw the short on it, yeah, that's fine. Just make sure you go check them out.
Hell yeah, most definitely.
Hell yeah. Well, Chase, I want to thank you for taking the time to be in the podcast. I truly appreciate it. We're going to end this episode with 3 things. First things first, when it comes to Ov Sulfur and it comes to the brand new album Endless coming out on January 16th, you're not going to want to miss out on it because the heavy stuff is going to make you laugh because you're just enjoying how heavy it really is and how aggressively awesome it is. So what you're not going to miss out on it. You're not also going to want to miss out on the fact they're touring with Orbit Culture February through April, and you're going to want to enjoy every moment of that and see this live. So here's what you're going to do. Description of the podcast down below says find Ov Sulfur online. Links and labels for everything to find them online, social media wise, where you can check out the brand new music when it comes out, where you can pre-save it, where you can download it, where you can go pick up some merch, support the band, and of course get your ticket to see him live with Orbit Culture in the first half of 2026. I've got all the links and labels down there. I'm doing all the work. Don't let me down, guys. Go and follow him, especially like heavy stuff, because it's going to make you smile. Now it's time for number 2, Chase. Whenever guests on the podcast, I enjoy the podcast. I tend to make a certain promise way to say thank you. I appreciate taking the time, and I wish to continue to support the band in the future. Normally, I have to say if because I don't have a day or time to pull this off, but I could say when because you guys are coming here on March 20th, and I get to say when. So when I see you front live for the first time, I will come and find you guys somehow. I will say hello to you, but the real promise is first round's on me.
Ah, sick. Yeah, let's do it.
Or if I get a hold of you earlier, it's like, hey, what do you guys want? All of a sudden you hear a knock on the door right by your bus. It's like, who is it? First round's on me, guy. You open the door. I got a huge box. Like, what's up, dude?
I love it. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I've done it before and we'll do it again. Perfect. Now, Chase, now it's time for number 3. As brings episode to a conclusion, I cannot end this by saying goodbye. That is way too final because this album is absolutely awesome. I would love to be back on the podcast again in the future. And my God, I got to make that promise work, man. So March 20th is the day. So goodbye. Way too final. This is, I'll see you later. Woo! Well, folks, my review is Chase of Ov Sulfur. Now it's time for Kevin's final thought. And yeah, listening to this album right from the get-go, I mean, I was just laughing while I was writing down my thoughts in it, laughing like, how the fuck is this a real thing? When I was going through this, especially from Endless, Godless, when I said that I wish I would have been able to use this song as the walkout song, my first MMA fight, I meant it. because it was that heavy, it hit that hard, and it made you want to fight those feelings of whatever the heck is keeping you down, these endless feelings of whatever it might be that you need to get through to find that light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, it made me feel like that. Seed is a great song for it. Forlorn, the breakdown for it is ridiculous. We didn't talk about songs like Dread, Bleak, and A World Away, the ones that have the features on there, but those are incredibly heavy, incredibly fun, and incredibly well thought out. But you can definitely see the evolution of Ov Sulfur in terms of what their songwriting ability is, and songs like Wither and Endless, Loveless. Yes, we went through those a little bit heavier in terms of a deep dive. Yes, they are the lighter songs on the record. Wither, I'm glad that Chase opened up about how he was writing it with the idea around grieving his grandparents and actually processing through that and seeing how Ricky's emotional vocals really added on to that. And then Endless, Loveless being something very similar in that fashion. Yes, they are the softer songs in the album. No, Ov Sulfur is not just going to go super duper soft and completely change, but it shows what the band is capable of in a songwriting process and a songwriting style, and how much further they can go by taking some of these concepts and employing them in a heavier style. We're seeing that all throughout Endless, and it makes this album so much fun to listen to and so energizing to listen to that you're going to want to see this live. You're going to want to listen to it all the time, and you're going to want to keep it on your radar for the entire year of 2026. So at the end of the year, when you're doing your favorite albums of the year, it is on that list. I want to thank Chase for coming to the podcast today. When it comes to Ov Sulfur, be sure to check them out. Description of the podcast below, links, labels for everything, where you can find them online on social media, where you can watch music videos, where you can find Endless when it comes out, from streaming it, downloading it, pre-saving it, all that stuff, where you can support the band, buying some merch, and where you go see them play live in February through April 2026 when they're out with Orbit Culture. Please also follow along with the Chord Progression Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to subscribe to us, which I really hope you do, hit that subscribe button, which is right down here if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify or Podcast, hit the subscribe or follow button. I want to thank you guys for doing that. Hit the like button, too, to help push us in the algorithms. Get comments in to tell us what you think about the album as well, what you thought about the episode. I would love to hear them. Beyond that, though, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chase. Start 2026 strong. That's going to be me. Thank you for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one. This is Big, Healthy, and Hearty. See ya! Yeah!